Hello and welcome to this episode of Dungeon Wives.
Dungeon Wives.
We're back, baby.
Where we
left off. Well, we gotta
where we go on Dungeon Dives.
Oh, I forgot that.
It's been that long.
We have to start over. Okay, you ready? No, I'm gonna keep all this in because it's charming.
Oh,
but
we're being charming. I wasn't aware.
Honey, you're always charming.
Oh wow.
I don't know. Is this relatable? Are we relatable? I have no clue.
I feel like the feral energy of being indoors for 4 months,
buddy.
It's only been increasing over the episodes.
Feral. Hello, welcome to this episode of Dungeon Wives. I forgot the name of the show where I do Dungeon Dives with my Dungeon Wives.
Or
Dungeon Dives with my
Dungeon Wife.
Mm-hmm.
Every time it trips us up.
You know,
every time we're like, oh, that doesn't sound right.
We need to think of a different intro thing.
No. No. Dungeon Dive is it.
Dungeon Dive, baby. Dungeon Dive in chat, please.
All about that Dungeon Dive.
My name is Mackenzie and I'm the Dungeon Master.
My name is Rachel and I'm the Dungeon Wife.
You are. How are you all? We're back. Thank you for your patience as we took a month to get an episode out.
Some things happened. None of them, awful, but all of them awful.
But all of them took a lot of time to take care of.
Time consuming.
Yeah, and thank you for just your grace, your patience with us. We love making this show for you, and we're glad to be back.
Glad to be back.
And you know what? If you're listening to this in the future and you just went straight from episode 13 to this,
nothing happened.
Nothing happened. So nothing changed for you.
Nothing changed for you.
Fine.
I'm so glad. Thrilled for you, honestly.
We already said our names.
Yes. We said the name of the podcast.
We said our names.
We joked about the name of the podcast. Now I think it's time
to play
for a
D&D.
quick recap.
Oh, I have to do my little recap?
Yeah, to do your little recap.
Let me take a little sippy of some Dr. Pepper.
Episode sponsored by Dr.
Pepper. I wish Dr. Pepper
a PhD
would sponsor me.
Honestly, if
me,
Dr. Pepper
Mackenzie.
sponsored you, they would make so much money because we single-handedly keep that
business alive.
Yeah, for real.
The amount of Dr. Pepper I buy is insane. And
Cuckoo bananas.
Are you ready, Rachel?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you even remember what happened?
No, so I'm really on pins and needles about this recap.
Where we last left off, Alkyone and Alexandrite followed the tracks they found through the forest and found their way to a small lair of a basilisk. They entered and had a perilous fight on the side of the basilisk, that is, because our heroes made some incredible moves, blinded the basilisk, and kicked its ass. After kicking some ass, they met a small...
Ooh, spooky.
Whoa, I don't know if the podcast will be able to hear that, but there was a huge thunder clap, which means we're getting spooky here on Dungeon Wives.
Spooky Wives.
They met a small halfling man named Ronnie, which is a name I chose for some reason, who told them that the statues that they were finding on the way there are what is left of his friends. They have been petrified by this creature, and that he lost part of his hand as it had been petrified and then broken. Alkyone soothed him and assured him that she would help, and they piled the statues into Ronnie's cart and began making their way to the Sunstar Forest to see Alkyone's family.
Mom City.
Mom City, bitch.
I
got caught up a little bit at the end, but do you kind of remember what happened?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, the great thing about playing a dumbass is that... I mean, low intelligence, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's like if Alkyone, if I forget something, Alkyone also forgets it, and it's not like I'm playing, I don't know, this incredibly brilliant, intelligent wizard scientist who has a photographic memory or whatever. No, I learned my lesson. I don't play smart characters anymore. We're playing it tight, baby.
Oh my gosh! Someone asked
Pure of heart,
me,
dumb of ass.
I was asked recently on an application for a show what kind of characters you play, and I was like, headstrong, kind dumbasses. Himbo. I think that's who I want to be on the inside, so that's who I play. And the sun is setting as you are making your way into the Sunstar Forest to the Cardia, which is the other name for your community.
Nice.
And it's your home. Being in the Sunstar Forest feels comforting. You know these trees, you know the smell, the sounds of the animals around you. What does it feel like for Alkyone to be coming home again?
How long has it been since I left? 2 weeks?
I thought we had, someone who actually re-listens to our podcast could correct us. But I believe that you said it had been a couple months. You'd been spending a couple months journeying down because it's about a month or so.
Have we been journeying for a month?
A little under a month, like 3 weeks or so.
We were booking it.
Yeah, and also we
Probably
don't
a couple months.
we
Yeah.
skip days, you and I, as we are traveling. If there's nothing super intense happening, we usually skip days. So you've been traveling for about 3 weeks coming from Bayergo, but I know you said that you were probably taking your time, working your way down the coast,
Yeah.
getting to Bayergo. So it's been like at least over a month or so.
Yeah. I mean, it's the longest I've been away from home for sure.
Yeah. How does it feel to be coming home?
Nice. If you're hoping for like an impassioned internal monologue from
I would like
Alkyone,
that. Yes, please.
Improvise
Improvise an impassioned internal
I walk
monologue.
into the forests of my home with my injured friend by my side and the person I have a crush with also there. We're all making sure that our new friends don't fall out of the wagon and they die. I'm thinking mainly about how nervous I am that this forest does not have roads. It's more just paths, and I'm like, I wish my home were not so foresty.
That's what you're thinking about as you're coming home?
I don't know. She's practical. She's mostly just like, if one of those statues falls out, this day is gonna go from normal to real bad. like she's not prepared to live through the rest of the day,
knowing that Ronnie's friend was just crushed beneath.
Yeah, it's pretty anxiety inducing.
Yeah,
I feel like that's fair. Like,
I'm
as
a
much as I
nice
want to be
DM.
sentimental about, I mean, I know you're not gonna make like a terrible rut in the road appear, and no, don't drop it. It's a 2.
If it was a 1,
wow,
I would have broken a statue.
The threshold was 2.
Yeah,
for that roll?
If I literally was like, if I roll a 1, I'll break part of the statues.
All right.
What are you doing?
I rolled a 4. These dice really are like, try it. Just try it.
These dice are like, hey, do you want to suffer right now?
Your podcast has been too fun lately. I don't know. She's just mainly worried about like, I really hope none of these statues fall out the back of the cart.
That's valid.
Well, when she gets to Mom City, it will be different.
Speaking of Mom City, the light has almost completely kind of gone from the sky as the sun has now fully set and the trees almost cover all the stars even. Like the trees are very thick, but they're not scary. They're very sweet and comforting, but it's like almost devoid of light, so you have a small torch on your cart that's sort of leading the way. But eventually you see off in the distance a warm light emanating, like fire light. And you understand that it feels familiar. As you get closer, you see the familiar homes and buildings of where you grew up. Cardia is a small but bountiful community nestled within the heart of the Sunstar Forest. Its wooden homes are built into these beautiful sunwood trees that have a kind of a golden orange tint to them. They have grown as high as the eye can see, flowers blooming on vines that cascade on every surface. A small creek flows through the community, offering cold, clear water. To Alex, she sees this, and even though she grew up in this forest, she's never seen this before, and it hits her that this is one of the most beautiful places she's ever seen. And as you get closer, you know you're home. Where do you go first?
Hey!
It's the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So you arrive in and you go, the party's back in town, baby.
I mean, honestly, like the cart clattering, I doubt that everybody's asleep. Somebody's up. So we're like, hey, it's Alkyone, I'm home. Hey.
I mean, a lot of people are asleep, or at least in their homes, because of the fact that it is the middle of the night.
It's only the sun is only just.
No, the sun was just setting as you entered the forest, and it's been a couple hours that you've been.
Oh, so it's like what, 8?
Like 9:30.
Oh, they're all in bed by 9:30.
Okay, I'm in bed by 9:30. You live with me.
No, you're not. Bitch. We are in bed by 10:30.
Just because
that hour is the difference between my dignity and no dignity. So
just because we've been playing Dragon Age lately until the middle of the night,
it's just we've hit August. You know,
you're dragging me. People are still in their homes because it's night. But yeah, as you get in, there's sort of this like cafe communal eating area that's kind of right by the entrance that you are entering to. And you see Nyx, who you know as this kind of stoic, mysterious woman who is a tattoo artist for your community. And there's not a lot of people in this little cafe area. There's like some people getting some late night snacks and just eating, and also just bringing some food in for the next day. And Nyx is sitting with her feet kicked up on the table. And
cool, Mom.
She is a tiefling, and she has light red skin, and she has kind of beautifully handmade leather armor all over. She has a completely shaved head and dark black eyes, and she has a ton of tattoos all over her body.
Don't forget the nose ring.
Yeah, and she has a nose ring that is connected to an earring. She's an absolute badass, and she's sitting there with her two partners, Europa and Lethea, and they're just drinking and hanging out. And Nyx, you run in and you just kind of go, "Hi, I'm here."
Hello.
And Nyx is like, "Kiddo, what are you doing back?" And she leaps up and kind of like she's not excitable, but she like kind of fixes her shirt and saunters over to you with a drink in her hand, and she's like, "What are you doing here, kiddo?"
Did we ever decide? It doesn't matter which one is her quote-unquote biological mother, but...
You told me not to... I have someone in my head who I think is your biological mother.
Okay, because now I have someone in my head.
Do you think she's your biological
mother?
mother?
It does, like, at the end of the day, culturally for Alkyone, it does not matter. Because
that's what you told me.
I'm like, hee hee, what a fun mystery for the player to solve.
Yes.
Yeah,
I have in my brain who I think your biological mother is, but I think it might be obvious to you who I think your biological mother is, but we don't have to decide. It can be like Mamma Mia. It's not important.
The thing is, you thought this podcast was going to be about like a war-torn nation and like how frightening life under these strange shadow dragon, shadow knight people. Like they've destroyed this country. Time is of the essence, but it is in fact just Mamma Mia.
It's Mamma Mia, and you see
Mamma Mia with tieflings.
You see Nyx, and you start being like, "I have a dream."
No. Mama tiefling, here I go again.
My home. That's
the end of the parody.
Yeah. How can I have fire resistance to you, Mama tiefling? This is bad. So what do you do?
We've led you all to this point. This is the long game. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give Nyx a hug.
Yeah, you give her a hug, and I'll describe her wives, her partners, if you will. More wives. Wow.
When we said Mom City, maybe we should have said Wife City. We've met the elite wives. Now it is
Wife City.
Wife City.
Wife Mom City. Mom Wife City. Lethea is a very short, wide-hipped, curvier tiefling woman with pale pink skin, and she has very long, curly white hair and these kind of bright silver eyes and like freckles all over her face, and she's very, very sweet. And Europa is this very tall Eladrin woman. She has deep burnt orange skin tone with bright golden eyes, and she has kind of like medium length, shaggy brownish hair that has orange leaves growing out from it, almost like it's her hair, that creates sort of a laurel wreath around her head. She's adorned in dark amber colored armor that expose tattoos all over her arms, and she kind of wears a floor length cape that is made from orange and yellow leaves, and they seem to be following her wherever she goes. Wherever she goes, leaves are left behind. She is currently in autumn. She's an autumn Eladrin. And those are Nyx's partners. Because like people, everyone's like a communal mom city, but some people have partners and multiple partners in this community just because it's people that they enjoy spending time with and enjoy being with romantically. And they all have each other.
Nice.
So Nyx gives you a big hug, and she kind of hugs you and then pulls you back and holds your shoulders, kind of. She's kind of weirdly brisk, and she's like, what are you doing back here?
It's a really long story. First things first, though, this is my friend Ronnie.
And Ronnie waves with his hand that's been a little injured, and he's like,
so as you can see, Ronnie has a stone hand because of a basilisk.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Well, you think the past 24 hours for me is wild. Wait till you hear about the past month.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. So yeah, we need to like make his hand not stone, or at least maybe stabilize it so it can't be broken off any more than it already has been.
All right. Yeah, I mean, like, we can do that. Is that
That's just first things first. It's the most pressing issue. We also have some people who are like completely stoned in the cart.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was a basilisk.
Okay, whoa, okay, yeah. Alright, yeah. We can handle this. And she like points up to Ronnie and she's like, we're good, dude, we can handle this. And
I love my mom, Shane from the L Word.
Rachel, I'm gonna jump out this window that is right next to me. You did not just call my NPC Shane from the L Word, because it is absolutely true. It is 100% true, and I didn't notice it until you said it just now. And I'm angry. I'm angry about it. She's like, yeah, we can't speak as her without thinking of Kate Minnick, who is very attractive. They have very similar energy. Nix and Kate Minnick have very big energy. So we can handle this. Have you seen Danae yet?
Have I seen Danae? No, I just got here. You're the first person I see. Oh, hey, Lithia. Hey, Europa. Sorry, I little zeroed in on this issue right now.
Lithia like waves really sweetly at you, and Europa has like kind of like a hat situation over, and then she's like lifts it up, winks at you, and puts it back down. It seems like it's two kind of like brisk badasses with this like sweet little pink girl right in the middle of them. That's sort of their vibe. And the next goes, yeah, I mean, she would want to see you, and she'll have a place for you to stay. And Danae is in my brain, and let me know if this is not how you visioned it. She's the mom I envisioned Alkyone maybe living under the roof of.
Yeah, like, I feel like there are moms that are there to like hunt and gather, and there are moms that are there to like provide other things like tattoos.
Yes. Well. So
and then there's like the mom who's like primary caretakers, like them. If you're good with kids, you take care of the kids. If you're good at hunting, you hunt. If you're good at painting, you paint. If you're good at cooking, you cook. If you're good at cleaning, you clean.
Yes. And I can get into a little bit more of the sort of lore I've created for this place, and we can discuss it and make sure that it sounds okay for you. But I've thought about this as like a matriarchal community that's nestled here, obviously. And the women of Cardia community kind of believe in a peaceful existence, and they worship nature, raise kids, create art, and it's sort of in the heart of this forest. And I've also thought about how no one in the community has rank over anybody else, but there are people amongst them who act as leaders when leaders are needed.
They're the people who like they know how to make decisions.
Yes, and
there are people who are like, I don't know, maybe we should talk about it for 2 weeks, and then there are people who are like, I think that this is the decision that we need to make right now, and it's important to have both types of people in a community.
Yeah, and so there's 3 different pillars of the community for their livelihood, and it's life, safety, and growth. And there's 3 women that represent each of these. Europa, who we are saying who's kind of passed out, she kind of represents the pillar of safety. She makes sure that the community stays safe, both within itself and from the outside world. She's built magical fortifications. She makes sure that only people with good intent can enter into this sort of utopia you all have built so that it can grow and flourish. She's a warrior. She's a hunter. She leads a group of rangers that go out and hunt for the community each day. She's really great. And then Danae, who is the woman who I envisioned Alkyone predominantly being raised by, or at least living with most of her life. She kind of represents the pillar of life. She makes decisions that are for the betterment of the community. She makes sure everyone is happy and fulfilled, doing things they want to do. She makes sure that everyone is valued and respected and safe. She's a really kind and warm woman, and you would know her very intimately because she's probably who you lived with and grew up with.
She's like the principal.
She's the principal. And then there's a woman named Clyde. She represents growth within the community. And so she kind of keeps the community growing healthy and strong. She kind of leads groups of gatherers that go get vegetables and fruit. She
tends the garden.
She tends the gardens. She has druidic magic that helps create the strength of these trees and all the flowers and fruit and everything that grows. And those are sort of the leaders of this community. And many people in the community have tattoos because what you are on right now is called a taxidi, which is sort of your Rumspringa, as we joked about it, but I actually put a name to it. And basically when members of the community become of age that they feel comfortable, they embark on this. And it's basically a Rumspringa that is a journey that is taken to discover more about the world around them, leave the community, and decide where they want to live when they grow up. You're not ever trapped here. You can always come back. But it sort of like has an official name, and that's sort of what Alkyone will go on, because she can decide if she wants to live in the community or live somewhere else. But when people return to their from their tech city and decide to stay within the community permanently, they get tattoos that are imbued with magical essences that help give them access to magical powers and different spells. And Nyx is the tattoo artist for that. So she has a apprentice, but she primarily is the person who tattoos people in the community, and that's sort of an important part. Oh, is that enough lore? I hope I don't bore people with the lore of your community.
I love the lore. I love it.
But that's who Danae is when Nyx asks you if you've seen her.
Yeah.
And
probably should talk to Danae.
Yeah, you go do that. Take your friends. And she looks at Ronnie. She goes, "Is it okay if I take your friends somewhere? You meet us at Pythia's after you go see her." And you would know Pythia as this sort of I described her
She's
as
the grandma.
A grandmother willow of types. She is very, very old. She boasts that she is over 600 years old, but will not give you an exact number. You, as a person who has a document open, can see how old she is. But she's
not a day over 30, Mackenzie.
But she's the grandmother of this community. She's one of the founding members of it, and you would know, you've never encountered something like petrification, but you would know that her magics are old and powerful, and if anyone's able to help them, it will be her.
Cool.
So Ronnie hops off. Alex also hops off kind of awkwardly and looks at the three people that are in front of you, while Nyx hops onto the cart and begins taking it a little bit further down away to Pythia's house.
I'm going to say to Ronnie and Alex, like, sorry, this is a little bit like weird circumstances to meet everybody, but that's Nyx. She's one of my moms. Lithia, Pink, she is Nyx's partner. Whenever partners are, their partner is Europa. She's got the leaves. Yeah, Nyx, they're in good hands. Nyx is good hands to be in.
Oh, that's good. I was really worried about him. I realized that Ronnie is also similarly sounding to Alkyone.
That was just very apologetic.
Ronnie. They're both very apologetic and nervous. And Alex is like, wow, you have how many moms? And you've told me, but this is
community of moms.
This is
a mom unity, if you will.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So where are we going now? Do we have to follow?
Lithia, should we check in with Pythia first, do you think? I feel like that's what Nyx was telling me to do, but...
No, I think you should go to Danae, because she will want to help you.
Danae, right, yeah. Okay, you can be my other mom, Danae.
Do you want a drink?
Does anybody want a drink?
Both of your companions shake their heads.
No, thanks, Lithia, but thanks so much.
All right, I love you.
I love you too, Lithia.
And you get one more, like, Europa lifts her hat, winks at you again, and puts it back down.
Damn.
And Lithia, like, hits her a little bit, and then it almost makes Europa, like, fall out of her chair, and she has to put her feet back on the ground, and then Lithia, like, pulls her hat up and gives her a kiss, and they both wave at you as you head out.
All right, let's go see Danae.
You make your way to a very familiar home. Like, you know exactly where to go here. And you and Danae sort of lived in this gorgeous house that's built into a tree pretty high up. And you make your way up. The staircases sort of wrap around the tree as it goes up, and they burst off into houses. So you walk up a couple flights and you make it to this home. And you can probably just let yourself in. Doors don't really lock around here. Everyone's kind of around to come into everyone's homes. And you walk into a very familiar homestead that you lived in for most of your life, if not your entire life. And you see that Danae is there, and she's doing some painting, and she's facing away from you. And when she hears the door open, she turns, and there's just this light that bursts into her face as she has to hoist herself up a little bit, because sometimes when she sits down she has a little trouble getting back up, but she gets up and she runs over to you. And she is a tall tiefling woman with pale magenta skin. She has short hair on the top that is shaved all around the side, and the small amount of hair that she has at the top is kind of braided and pulled back into a high knot. Her hair is a brilliant bright silver, and her horns extend from her temples and shoot up with numerous almost branch-like things shooting out from her horns that kind of resemble small antlers. She wears flowing green robes that fall all over her body perfectly, showcasing the numerous tattoos she has across her arms and very notably her right leg. A high cut in the dress shows off a completely wooden right leg, and it starts about 6 inches below her hip. And the wood that her leg is made from is a brilliant, deep purple heartwood, and it is etched with beautiful kind of engraved designs that match her tattoos. And she runs over to you, and she almost lifts you up in a hug.
Hey!
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad to be here.
Darling, what are you doing here, kiddo?
There's a lot to talk about.
You got friends?
Yeah, I made friends.
Oh, you made friends. That makes me so happy.
This is Ronnie. We just met her after killing a basilisk.
And she picks him up into a hug, and he's like, what? He wasn't expecting a full scooped hug from this person.
Full scoop.
And she pulls him up and then says, oh, it's so nice to meet you.
And this is Alexandrite. She and I have been traveling together.
And she grabs Alex and pulls her into a hug, and Alex, like, the blue on her cheeks is kind of red. She's very nervous and embarrassed, but it looks at you and kind of smiles at you when your mom is hugging her. And she goes, oh, I'm so glad you have friends. I mean, not that you wouldn't. You're the best kid, but it's nice that you have friends that aren't your mom's.
Yeah, it is wild being friends with someone who isn't also my mom.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you two.
So
what is it, honey?
I mentioned basilisk.
Are you? Well, obviously you're okay.
Yeah,
but
obviously we killed it. It was like kind of not a big deal at all.
Really?
Yeah, it really wasn't a big deal at all.
That's incredible.
We thought it was gonna be a huge deal, and then we just like wrecked that thing shit.
Oh, you're such a badass, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, also come in. And she says, keep talking, as she runs over and starts to make some tea.
So, we need to talk to Pythia about Ronnie's hand. Ronnie did his hand is stone, and if there's a way to either like make it not stone or make it stone that's not gonna break, that would be ideal. Would you say that's right, Ronnie? I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk over you. It's just I get home and I'm like, gotta play host.
It's okay. Yeah, I would like to have maybe a not stone hand, but if it's the only option, I understand. And Danae sort of interrupts them, and she's like, oh, it's okay, little guy. We'll take care of you. I mean, I have occasionally encountered a basilisk once, maybe, in my whole lifetime. They're very rare, honestly, in this part of the country, but most people are just fully...
Yeah.
And if they're not, then they're all the way broken. So you're a great little middle ground. You're unique, you know? And Ronnie sort of smiles weirdly.
I love that we've met Shade from the L Word and now Femme Shaggy.
Shut the fuck up. How dare you drag all your moms?
It's my job.
And so she's like very quickly and deftly like making tea for all of you, like putting them in these like handmade bags and wrapping them up and putting them in little cups. And she goes, you're unique, and but I'm sure we can help you. I think it would take some time, but we might be able to restore your hand if that's something you're interested in. And Ronnie is like, absolutely, I'm interested in that. And she's like, it'll take some time, and it's not my kind of magic, but Pythia will be able to help us, and I'll go with you. But sit down, take a break. We'll give her time. She's probably asleep because she goes to bed early, at like 8:30. So.
I hate you.
And so, you sit down, I assume, and she makes you all tea. Nice. And we can roleplay it if you want, catching her up on things.
Let's
or if you
roll for it. Let's see how well this goes.
You want to roll for how well you catch your mom up?
No,
okay.
Just roll for how well this social encounter goes.
A 12.
A 12.
It's an okay social encounter. You kind of...
The threshold was 11, just so you know.
The threshold was 11. The DC, if you will.
That's what that's called.
Yes, that is what it's called. And so, yeah, you sit here just not very long, like for like 30 minutes or so, and you drink tea. It's like some like homemade like herbal tea that she's always made your whole life, and it just like, it tastes, it's like going home and having your mom make your favorite meal, and it's like, oh yes, this is warm, and it's exactly how I remember it, and I can't get it anywhere else but here, and it feels great. And you catch her up on everything, and she's horrified to hear about the dragon, but she's relieved to hear about how you are okay. Are there things you've left out that maybe you're not hiding, but you're maybe not indulging with your mother right now?
Maybe don't bring up like the assassin. We're not bringing up that people are like actively trying to kill us. We're like, we've had some encounters like the basilisk, and there was a fighter, but it ended up okay.
Yes. yeah, so you leave out a couple little details, but you tell her mostly about everything that you guys have done, and Alex is a little awkward, but also is more interested in looking around at the house and seeing the place you lived in when you were little. And there's like some paintings that Danae has done of you and other children that, because like you didn't
baby pictures.
Yeah, like Alex kind of gets up and wanders a bit, and you weren't the only kid that lived here, when you were growing up. I'm sure you grew up with other like siblings.
Oh yeah, Alkyone is not an only. She does not give off only child vibes.
No, not at all. And so you weren't the only one that lived here, but you lived with Danae for a very long time, and you were definitely the first child that she had living with her over the course of her kind of motherhood, if you will. And so there's lots of paintings of you that she's done, and paintings of you with like your siblings and sweet little things. And Alex,
like big gap between my two front teeth.
Yeah, like a little purple tiefling gap between her teeth, and like a broken horn because you fell off of a swing one time and broke part of your horns off, and things like that. Just like cute little moments. And Alex is walking around and sort of smiling, looking at this little person you used to be, and looking over at this big person you are now, and she just really likes being around you, and she is enjoying that. And Ronnie will kind of also join her and be like, look at that, and while you're catching up with your mother. And eventually you finish your tea, and you I assume make your way over to Pythia's home. And Pythia's home is it is like all the way on the other edge of the community, and it is in the highest tree. The tallest tree in this area belongs basically entirely to her. And it's carved out on the inside, so you go inside of it, and she has powerful magic that's almost built like an elevator kind of. So you stand on this little tablet, all of the four of you, and it sort of floats you slowly up like about 100 feet or so, and then it kind of it's like if you were in Pythia's place, you would see there's a hole in the ground, and for you, it's like you lift up, and then the circular thing you were on completes the floor, and you're in Pythia's home, and you see that Nyx is there, sort of grimacing as she's very lightly sipping a tea that she clearly does not like, and she like has like a little bit of her beer she was drinking earlier that she like brings up and sips in between tea sips. And you see this very, very, you know who she is, but you see this wood elf who she's very, very, very tall, but she is hunched over from age. She's like not old, but she's like up on the upper end of elf ears. The upper end of elf years. So she's hunched a little bit from age, and her face has, wrinkles, and she is a founding member of this community. She's very, very old, and she sort of wears these sort of dark gray robes, and she's sort of definitely like in a nightgown, and she's just like cooking and making tea and clearly talking Nyx's ear off about something, and you see that she's not really cooking as much as looking at potions and picking up different things and smelling them and tasting them and kind of reacting to them. Like she's clearly working with something magical, trying to figure out, and she's sort of thinking out loud, and Nyx does not seem to be interested at all. And you enter, and she turns around, and she's like, "Oh, I heard you were back. Hello, child."
Hi, Pythia. Hi. You know that ginger hug you give to your grandparents?
Like, ooh, I don't want to touch you.
It's not even like I don't even want to touch you. It's just like,
I don't want to break your bones. Frail. She goes, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. And we're friends, very pretty friends," referring to both Ronnie and Alex. I understand that one of you points at Alex.
Ronnie
Points at Alex. Like when you say Ronnie, she like looks at the two people and for some reason presumes Alex is Ronnie. And goes,
no, she's Alex. Alexandrite. He's Ronnie.
Oh, okay. And he lifts his little hand up. She goes, there we go. This will be simple. But you may have to stay with us to recoup for a bit. Is that all right? And he's like, anything I can do. And she smiles and she goes, sit down. And she kind of goes back over to these things, and she goes, the friends, however, will be a little bit of a more, it'll be a harder. I'm not quite sure I have everything I need.
Well, there's something you need, Pythia. We can go out and grab it.
well, that would be nice. But it's doing it at night would be dangerous. So if your friends can wait, maybe do that. And Ronnie is like, looks a little sad, and he's like, will they be okay? And she goes, well, yes, of course they'll be okay. I'm there's a specific type of spell I have to use, a restoration spell, in order to revive your friends from their stony cages. And normally that kind of do you like this
I'm
voice?
delighted by Pythia in this voice.
She goes, normally this kind of magic uses diamonds, but we don't have diamonds. I am not rich. And she sort of stares off in the distance. She's a little weird, and you know this about her. Mm-hmm. She's kind of this hermity person who lives at the highest, but everyone respects her and everyone loves her. But she says, there is a flower that grows a little north, more in the direct center of the forest that I have been able to use as a substitute for diamonds. It's a lot cheaper because I have no money. And real quick, the voice I just did sounded like Katya's, like Barbara. I put my money in a hole, and and I've been able to use it as a substitute. And I believe that if I have enough of them, I can bring the friends back.
Oh. I mean, we need a diamond, Pythia. We can go grab a diamond. It's not a big deal.
It's a lot cheaper to just get the flowers. Why would you go get a diamond? Are you money bags? You leave and you come back money bags?
No. It's good to see you, Pythia.
And I would need multiple diamonds. It would cost upwards of 2,000 gold.
Oh, yeah, we don't have that.
And that's why we get flowers in this community. And she winks at you and she smiles this very crooked smile with like old person teeth, but they're nice. And she says, I have a little bit left, and I can help this young man, but I would need more for the larger project.
Yeah, we can go grab that tomorrow.
Wonderful. I'll mark it on your map. This is Skyrim. I don't know. But
you said wonderful.
Wonderful. But Danae turns to you and says, I'd like to accompany you if you'll let me.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, thank you, honey. And Pythia says, do you want to do this now? To Ronnie, and Ronnie looks at his little hand, and it's the fingers right here are kind of broken off, and he kind of takes a gulp. He looks kind of scared.
We got something for the pain, right, Pythia?
Oh, sure. Okay. She pulls out a wooden block. She's like, bite on it, maybe. I'll do my best. And
Pythia.
What? It hurts. It's going to hurt. I'm not going to lie to you.
All right, fair enough.
But you...
Pythia's the one who, when she takes you to get shots, because she's babysitting on Dr. Day, I don't know, and your mom is work, and she's like, can you please just take her to the doctor to get her shot? She's like, this is gonna hurt so bad. I'm gonna be right here every second of the way, but they're gonna tell you it's just a little pinch. It's not.
She goes, the first part
Chaos,
of it
Grandma.
is going to hurt, and the second part will not. And then she looks at Ronnie, and she goes and she kind of shuffles over, and she has she's a bowl of something, a bowl of some liquid that the way she shuffles, you're worried it's gonna fall all over the floor. And she puts it down on this little kind of bed thing he was sitting on, and she says, but you don't have to worry because you're strong and you're resilient and you're going to be okay because we're all here and we all care about you. What's your name again? And he goes, Ronnie. She's like, I told the truth. Even if I didn't know your name, I can tell. I know these things. And she sort of holds this dish in her lap, and she grabs the hand that is
part stone,
and she pulls out this flower. You see it is this sort of it looks like a snowdrop, but it's bigger. It has a bigger, wider bloom, and it's silvery and sheeny, and you see that she almost squeezes it like a lemon, and these crystal looking particles fall out. You can tell this is probably the flower that you'll need, and it's a smaller one that she's using, and she squeezes it, and then when she opens her hand, the petals are all
mangled
and stuff.
Squished.
And she pushed it down, and she kind of pulls, like, you see her very, like, kind of old, mangled, bony fingers go in. She kind of swirls it up with, like, a long nail.
Oh my God,
And then-
Grandma.
And she pulls his hand, and she says, "Just look at me, and everything will be fine." And she puts his hand in, and you see that, like, it's almost like it dissolves, like it dissolves, but then you see the water, it dissolves, and, like, it's almost like the
Like the stone is dissolving?
The stone dissolves, but then you see the water begins to fill with blood
Oh.
because it is becoming a severed hand now. And he and Ronnie, like, bites his bottom lip, and just tears start falling out of his face, and she holds the back of his head, and she's like, "It's okay." And Nyx is like, "I didn't sign up to be
Nick
standing
is, like,
here for
fully
this."
chugging this beer.
And she's just like, "Holy shit." But then she looks at him, and he looks up at her, and he kind of nods, and he's just trying not to cry, and then she pulls it out, and almost with, like, the like lightning quick speed, she puts, like, a salve on it, like, just like a chunk of a salve, and then wraps it up, and it starts to bleed through a little bit, and she's like, "And now come here." And she lifts him up, and he's just, like, in so much pain, his little arm is, like, shaking from the pain, and she says, "Now this one I don't need anything to do." And she holds his hand, and you see this sort of, like, green glow come from her very bony fingers, and you see that the bleeding that was, like, spreading on the tissue begins to stop. And she sort of squeezes it, and she sort of, like, wraps this, and she says, "Now, it will grow back if you want it. Do you want that, or do you want to
Keep
live
it
another
as
way?"
is, yeah.
And he kind of, like, looks at you, because he remembers what you said, and he looks at your mom, and he kind of feels weird, but he says, I think I want it back. And she says, "That's okay." And then
It's about choice here, my guy.
and she unwraps it, and you see that sort of where there was, like, an open wound, it's almost healed over a little bit. The fingers are still almost, like, cut to the lower part, but you see, like, mild growth. And she goes, "It'll take a day or two, but they will grow back." And he, like, looks at sort of his, like, nubbed
Horror
fingers,
Grandma.
and he's like, "How?" And she's like, "Magic, I don't know."
This is truly like hope punk horror Grandma.
Oh, wait. So she cast Regenerate.
Is it instantaneous?
They come back after 2 minutes.
She's like, "It's gonna take a few days."
And then it, like, no, yeah. So never mind. She didn't say that, but she did say.
She should, like, it's a fun grandma joke to be like, "It's gonna be this way for a week,"
few
and then,
days.
like, 2 days,
And then
2 minutes later, you're like, "Wait."
Yeah, so you
Grandma.
actually see that, like, it's like the fingers are reforming themselves, and he's like, 2 weeks? And she's like, "Oh, I read my spell wrong. 2 minutes." And his fingers begin to grow back, and Danae sort of, like, she's had her arm around you, and she sort of squeezes you, and she's like, "Did a good thing. Thanks for bringing him here so we could help him."
Yeah.
And he starts, like, as it's growing back, he's, like, holding his hand out and seeing his fingers grow, and he just looks horrified but amazed at the same time, and Pythia is sort of just, like, smiling and like, "Oh, okay." "And if you bring me the flowers, our 2 less tears, then I can she's getting weirder the more I talk as her voice, "then I can help the others, but we can keep them here for the night."
Yeah. Sounds good. Ooh, do you hear the rain?
I don't know.
Maybe
if
it's
gonna
raining
pick
in
up.
the forest.
Yeah, I don't know if the rain in our world's gonna pick up, but we can say that you start to hear rain outside as rain is beginning to hit in the Sunstar Forest, but it's a nice light rain, and
Soft.
it'll be fun to walk home in kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And Danae says, "Well, we'll set out tomorrow. Do you want to spend the night?"
Yeah. Alex, Ronnie, are you okay having a sleepover at my place?
Alex looks down and is like, "Yeah, sure." And Ronnie's like, "Sleepover!" He's feeling on top of the world now that his hands are fixed. And then he turns to Pythia, and she says, "We have them. They'll stay here. I'll put them in a bed even." And he kind of looks confused. And he's like, I'm going to go say goodnight to my friends, but I'll meet you back at your place.
Do you know where it is?
I'll figure it out. And Nick's is like, I'll walk him there. And so Nyx goes and takes him into like the other room to say goodnight to his friends. And you see that it almost, when she opens up this kind of curtain, you see that it's actually a room you've never been in. You've been to Pythia's home before, but it's this sort of like room, and when you open it up and Nyx lets Ronnie in, he looks kind of amazed. You see it's this like beautifully lit with like light blue colors, light blue flame flickering on like an altar. It looks like an altar room almost that you've never been to. And she brings him in there. And I assume you go to your house.
Yeah, it's time to go home.
All right, you go back to your home and you kind of get comfy. You have some old pajamas that your mom has there, and the rain is hitting the windows and coming in a little bit through the roof, but it's kind of nice. You don't really mind leaks too much. And you get set up in your old bed, I assume.
Yeah.
And then Alex makes a little like pallet on the floor for her and a smaller one for Ronnie. And as you guys are sort of laying down for the night, Alex like kind of lays in her little blanket on the ground, and you're in your bed. And do you want to say anything or do anything before you two go to bed? Ronnie's arriving soon, but he's not here yet.
I want to wait until Ronnie gets there, and I want to wait until like everybody's sort of kind of dozing.
Okay, so yes, Ronnie.
This is going to be a bit. Don't expect this to be like a big emotional RP. This is just a fun sleepover bit.
Incredible.
Where everyone is almost asleep, and then Alkyone goes, "Hey, Alex."
Yeah.
I was just checking to see if you were awake.
I mean, I was almost asleep, but I'm awake.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I don't know. Sorry if my moms are like a lot. They just like hosting.
No, I like them a lot. They remind me of you.
Sorry they showed you all my baby pictures.
No, I love them. They were really great.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories there.
I like your little gap tooth.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Once they were my baby tooth, and when they fell out, the other ones didn't grow in with a gap tooth. I sort of miss it sometimes. It's good for whistling.
Really?
Yeah.
And Ronnie goes, "Are you two flirting? What's going on?"
What?
Why are you?
Good night, Ronnie.
Go to bed.
Good night, Ronnie.
Go to bed and you're just look. The rain's hitting harder. We're just trying to go to bed, and you were talking about your gap teeth.
Do you flirt with people about their dental records, Ronnie?
No, but I tell them I like their parents. And he rolls over. He kind of rolls over, and you see his little shoulders kind of giggling.
Well, yeah. Good night, Alex.
Alex,
yeah.
Look, it's like covering her eyes, and she's like, in hell. And
in gay hell.
In gay hell. What
Ronnie is
gay hell?
MLM Willowa solidarity.
He is. He's a sweet gay trans halfling, and that's why I love him.
And I love him, Your Honor.
I love him, Your Honor. May the record show I love him. He's my son.
But Your Honor, I love him.
I'm
gonna roll to see how embarrassed Alkyone is.
Okay.
That's a 16. She's mortified.
How does she feel about Ronnie saying that?
Mortified. It was one of those things where, like, you know, when you like someone, but you don't really know, and you're flirting and you didn't realize that's what you were doing, and then someone is like, "Oh," and you're like,
The night we met.
No, the night we met, I knew I was flirting with you 100%. Absolutely. It's that thing where we were like, I just want to spend time with them all the time. And I'm just glad they're here all the time. And I think about them when they're not there. And like when we go to sleep, I think about them. When I wake up, I think about them. And it's just very normal to have a best friend you're like in love with. And except in love with, it's not the word I would use. I'm in love with them platonically. And you flirt with them, and then someone's like, okay. And you're like, am I gay? Except for Alkyone, it's more like, she knows you can be gay. She grew up with gay.
Alkyone knows you can be gay.
Alkyone is aware that you can be gay.
I mean, she grew up in a predominantly female community, so and people are dating each other here, so I would assume it's probably her normal.
Yeah, very weird to go out and see.
Honestly, gay's the normal in our world.
It is.
Why not?
Why not?
I want it.
Everybody's gay.
Everybody's
gay. Trans. Everybody is loving, and homophobia doesn't exist, and transphobia doesn't exist.
Welcome to my original campaign setting.
Yes, exactly.
I just want it to be a place that we love, that we can build stories within, and that's what it is.
Yeah. We can do a story later about punching homophobes, but in this story,
No.
they're just not here.
We're hanging out with the gay moms.
It's all gay all the time. Even
Hell
the
yeah.
villains are like,
Pretty gay.
sorry, what you just said was really transphobic, and we're evil, but we're not that evil.
What?
I don't know. Like, it's that trope of like, I mean, it's not a trope. It really should be a trope of like these terrible, evil villains who like are like legitimately horrible people. Like when they hear someone being homophobic or transphobic or racist or something, they're like, no, listen.
Even the villains.
Are like, listen,
no,
there's
no.
a line and that's it. And we will, murder entire towns with our dragon, but,
They stand up for trans rights, though.
it's the,
Everyone in our world does.
it's just assumed.
I realize this sounds sarcastic, but this is fully serious. I just
You
want
will
this
not
world-
encounter any
I
homophobia or
want
transphobia in this world.
This is our PSA. I just want our campaign to be queer as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're queer as hell, dude.
Indeed.
Hey.
Q is H. Yes?
I love you, Rachel.
Me too.
And back to the
And
game.
then back to the game.
So you have a good night's sleep. You get a full rest. I don't know if you already took a full rest on your D&D Beyond, but
yeah,
didn't,
let's do it.
take it because I don't think you rested since the basilisk, right?
No, not
Yeah,
since the
so,
basilisk.
You get your spell slots back. You wake up the next morning to a
Delicious.
delicious breakfast made by your mom and Ronnie.
Yes, the best part about going home.
Ronnie is eating with his new hand, and well, you see that actually when you wake up that that Ronnie wasn't on his little bed, but when you woke up, you realized he was out there talking to your mom and eating with your mom.
Oh
and,
no!
and they were having a good time, and it seems like maybe he was talking to her about his choice and curious about her choices and why she has
made the choices she had.
Yeah, making the choices she has. If there's certain types of magics in the world,
Danae is the ultimate mom. Danae is like anything you want to talk about, anything you want to eat, anything you want to hug, you're getting one.
Yeah, and so he's just been bonding with your mom and just talking to her. And when
gonna smoke, dude in the house.
Yeah, literally. When you walk out, you get a big. What is Alkyne's favorite breakfast?
This is stupid, but the first thing that popped in my brain was like grilled cheese.
Okay, is that Alkyne's favorite
I
breakfast?
don't know. I think I just really want a grilled cheese right now, honestly, and that's why my brain is like grilled cheese.
I can make you a grilled cheese after this, honey.
Cheese. That would be great. Let's say her favorite meal is
It can be
gosh.
grilled cheese. For
Yeah,
breakfast.
fantasy grilled cheese. Why not?
Fantasy grilled cheese is just grilled cheese.
No, it's not
Bread-
because we're in a fantasy
Bread
world.
and cheese exist in
Yeah, fantasy bread and fantasy cheese combined in a fantasy
skillet.
a fantasy
Your mom
skillet.
is like, Alkyne, I made your favorite fantasy grilled cheese for fantasy breakfast grilled cheese.
You can't have breakfast. It's fantasy breakfast.
Your fantasy breakfast fantasy grilled cheese for fantasy breakfast, Alkyne.
And Melkani's like, fantasy, thank you, fantasy mom.
I'm fantasy in love with you. So yes, your mother has made you your favorite fantasy grilled cheese breakfast, and Alex and Ronnie think it's weird. You and your mom do not think it's weird.
It's just what we eat.
It's breakfast, but it's like a really fancy grilled cheese that has like cut up pieces of like tomato in it with like some
don't
nice-
do that. As a grilled cheese connoisseur,
That's what Liz does.
Liz, I love you. I'm speaking directly to Liz now. I love you. No, a grilled cheese with things that aren't cheese in it becomes something. It becomes a melt.
Fine. It is just cheese. There's nothing
Thank
but fantasy
you.
cheese in this grilled cheese.
It could
I
be
was trying to
multiple
make it
types of
fancy.
cheese. It could be multiple types of cheese. But
There's
the thing
4
is, grilled
cheeses in this grilled cheese.
Ooh, then it is a fantasy grilled cheese.
I swear we're gonna lose every listener we've ever had.
You're
'cause
gonna be
they're
like,
gonna
oh, Rachel said no tomatoes and grilled cheese.
get out.
Rachel said that's not a grilled cheese. I'm right. Fight me. Come to my house. Mask up.
On that note, you and your party, unless you'd like to do something in the morning, I assume you guys can kind of get ready to go
Yeah,
ahead
I
and
was
head
gonna
out.
brush my teeth. We want to help Ronnie's friends.
Yeah.
Is Ronnie coming along, or is he chilling out at
Ronnie
home?
asked if he could just chill out. Would you be cool
Honestly, yeah. He's
Okay.
been through a lot in the past 48 hours.
with that? He's gonna go and sort of just go to Pythia's and hang out with his friends and wait for you all to get back.
That's really cute.
And
Hanging out with Grandma.
hang out with Grandma. And you head out, and basically she was able to tell you, and your mom kind of knows where it is. It's sort of like a grove that's up north where these flowers grow, and usually your community doesn't take them unless you absolutely need them because they're nature, and you don't want to take them because
You've
they're
got enough.
very precious flowers, but you need them now, so we're gonna go get them. And I realize we have not rolled a single freaking dice this entire...
I'm sorry.
You're gonna break the glass table with your metal dice. Is there anything else you'd like to do right now, or you want to just head out?
No, let's head out. I will point out that we have been rolling for things like, is the social occasion awkward?
Absolutely. But you know
counts.
what we need to do?
Roleplay.
We need to actually roll a d20. But
like how to find it, because if we're trusting my dice to help me find things, we're gonna be here a while.
I just had deja vu. This has happened before, and I don't know when. Maybe in a dream. So you make your way out of the north side of town, and you're walking with Alex and Danae, your mom, and you two are catching up, and I feel like you two probably have this sort of rapport of comfort that Alex isn't third wheeling in, but it does feel a little left out but she's also excited to just listen to you two talk to each other, because it's like, even though you've only been gone a month or so, it's coming back after a long time, and you two just have a flow to your conversations and your inside jokes and your little memories that you're sharing with each other as you all kind of walk through this forest.
I just realized that earlier when I said I love D, what I really meant was
I love Danae.
I love Danae.
Yeah, and Danae is like, Alex, you should have seen. She ran through the house naked. And I thought, what's this little purple thing running through my house right now? And I had to chase her down, and there was mud all over her, and just starts telling these embarrassing like childhood stories about you to Alex.
Yeah, Alkyne's cheeks are like it's that silver blush thing.
Yes.
Did we say darker purple or silver blush?
Darker purple.
Darker purple then. The tips of her ears are like magenta almost.
They look like your mom. And eventually it takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours or so north of just walking, and eventually you're getting closer to where this grove is. Danae says, we're getting pretty close, and roll a perception check.
Okay.
The first freaking roll of this whole session.
Oh, it let me down. It's okay. It didn't let me down. It just did its job, and it's the only job a dice has is to roll. A die has. I get it mixed up. Am I the only one who gets it mixed up?
What, die and dice?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, is dice plural and die is singular?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I use dice so much more often than die. And die feels weird, to be honest.
Well, do what you want to do.
What was it? Perception?
Yes, perception.
Yeah, that's gonna be a 10.
All right. Really? 10. Okay, right. Sorry. I was just like right on the money, if you will. You are getting closer to where this grove is, according to your mom, and you hear, like, you've been hearing normal, like, animal sounds around you. You've seen plenty of, like, deer and elk and other kinds of, and, like, rabbits and other kinds of animals. But you start to hear a noise that sounds a little weird. You hear kind of, like, this, like, gnashing and, like, saliva-y sounding noise, like that's kind of coming ahead, and as you sort of hear it and maybe react to it, your companions also begin to sort of hear it, and Danae sort of slows down a little bit but keeps moving forward. And roll a nature check for me. I don't know why I made that sentence go like that's cocked.
That cocked. Nature. Surprisingly plus 0, but that's a solid 15.
15. That's not bad. You can tell that this is a beast, an animal. You can tell it's eating noises, maybe, but they
tell me it's not eating the flour we need.
Not eating the flour. You hear that it is sort of like. It sounds like almost abnormal. There's sort of like a pained breath, and more of a vicious like sound to the way this creature is maybe biting into whatever it's eating, and you hear it ahead. And
Ew.
Do you want to maybe try to sneak up to the grove as not to? Yeah. Roll a stealth then, and then I'll roll for your companions, and you'll do kind of like a group.
Damn. Thing. Yeah, it's going to be a 17 for moi.
All right, and your companions don't do too bad themselves as a group. Alex almost gets her armor not a little caught on something.
Alex, bless her heart.
Yeah, but as a group, you are able to kind of slink back down a little bit, and you kind of move up into the bushes that are right on the outside of this small, very beautiful grove. And as you kind of get up there, you see pretty clearly. Let me see.
And it sees us too.
I did roll a 19 on something, but I will describe to you the situation.
Okay.
And you see that there is sort of this like large, like almost, you see it's a large bear. It's what it looks like.
So this really is the Dragon Age episode for you, huh?
Oh yeah. The other day I was playing Dragon Age and I got attacked by 3 bears at once. And it was horrific.
Really funny.
I will not do that to you, maybe. I don't know. But you do see this bear and it seems like it's like spine almost. It's coming out of its back. It has this sort of like mangled, bloodied spine situation and these big, strenuous shoulders, and it is biting into something, and you do see some blood sort of flying from what it is eating. And it's lifting its head up in the air and biting and swallowing something. And you see, like, on the kind of near where it is, a patch of these flowers. And you see, because this is clearly the grove, but there is this sort of mangled looking bear, and you can't quite see its face yet.
Its spine is out?
Sort of. It looks like a spine. It looks like hard ridging down its back.
Okay. So it looks like there is... Okay, just to be clear, it looks like there is something along its spine, not that its spine is exposed and bloody.
I don't know.
Okay, well, you're the DM, so it concerns me that you don't know.
It's sort of like that.
See, I would say that there's like, spine is not exposed so much as like, the spine is supposed... What I'm saying is, in this instance, medically, for this bear, the spine is supposed to be where it is.
Sure, but as you're
I don't like
getting
that,
up,
sure.
you're hiding pretty well, your group, and truly, it almost seems superhuman how when you get up and you lean a little bit in, its head pops up and you see these like large ears turn, and you see this bear turn. And you see that its jaw is like, it turns in your direction and looks directly at the bushes where you are. And it is its mouth and chest is bloodied. It has pieces of its flesh coming off, and you can see that part of its muscles are exposed.
No, so the spine isn't where it's supposed to be.
It has sort of like these grayed over, gray and blackish eyes.
It's an undead bear?
And its jaw is slack, and it lets out this large roar and screams and begins plunging towards you, and that's where we're gonna end the session for today, baby.
Oh, you give me Pythia and then this?
I do.
Oh my gosh, its spine wasn't where... Oh no.
Joining us for this episode.
Thank you.
Of Dungeon Wives.
Dungeon Wives.
Oh yeah. That was weird. If you want to find us on Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at
Dungeon Wives.
You can also find us at
www.dungeonwives.com.
Boom. And you can also find us at patreon.com/Dungeon
Wives.
Basically, if you look up Dungeon Wives,
Google Dungeon Wives.
We're probably there.
Don't Google Dungeon Wives, actually.
You don't know what you'd find.
I do. Oh boy.
But we're there. We're everywhere. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, if you want to see some cool pictures about our recording sessions or our cats or memes
or get a dice bag mailbag
on Patreon. We do some mailbags. We do early access to episodes.
We announced this. We are going to be pausing it for a hot second.
Yes, we're going to be building up pretty soonish, I think, personally, as a DM, to our season 1 finale.
At which point we will take a teensy tiny little break.
Yes, we will take a teensy tiny little break, but as we prep to go into season 2,
then become a patron on our Patreon.
Yes.
Patreon.com/DungeonWives.
Yes. You can be a patron in the meantime, though, because we still have we definitely have more episodes.
Yeah. They're coming.
In the barrel before the end of season 1, but we will be pausing Patreon and then returning. We'll keep
Return of the tiefling.
Return of the Tiefling, exactly. And so you can head over to our Patreon if you want to know more about the kind of cool stuff we're doing. And
yeah,
this is a weird, quick outro, but
it's good.
I think that's all we have.
Good to short, sweet, concise. Hope you're washing your hands, staying well, stand inside. Yeah,
Wearing
stay
a
inside
mask.
when you can, if you can.
And hey, Rach,
Yeah.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
Thanks for being my wife.
Thanks for being my wife and my DM.
Oh, thanks for being my player. And all of you out there, thank you for listening and thank you for supporting the show. We never really do this before, but if you like it, leave us a review on iTunes. Let us know what you think. Or if you don't like it, let us know what we can change. Let us know what you think.
Send us like a 5-paragraph long complaint on iTunes, but give us 5 stars.
But give us 5 stars, but also complain about us. But no, if you like the show, share with your friends and post about us on iTunes, and we'd love to bring them into the community, and we're just really glad to have you here. And also, if you're interested, we have a Discord that I will link on our website. So you go to our website if you want to join our Discord community. Come hang out, come talk. I think that's all we got.
I think so. I've already said I love you, so now what are we going to do?
We're going to fade into the abyss. Shoo.